Good morning, guys. All right, so last night's live was a hot mess. It was a very, very, very long day, and I really don't think my brain was working, so I wanted to kind of pop on and like do a take two kind of deal. Um, it was requested that I talk about what tax write-offs were. So, as I said in the other video, first you have to have a system in which you are doing your bookkeeping, where you are writing your stuff down that you're using for your business and your business expenses. That's number one. Number two is you have to have a system as far as when you do these items. Like, I do my bookkeeping on blah 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 day. So you need to have that. Those are the two biggest things, because I can tell you about tax write-offs, but if you don't have a place to put them and you don't have a system in which you're putting them, it doesn't mean anything. Now, you are a business owner. Despite what you think, you are a business owner. You are to declare income. Just like a waitress, if they get $50 in tips, you're supposed to declare it. Check with your tax accountant for rules and regulations. I am not a tax accountant. We'll talk just tax write-offs, and then I will do a different Monday on taxes. But what is a tax write-off? A tax write-off is you are declaring that you use something specifically for your business. I bought blank for my business. So you were able to write that off as a business expense. And the reason you would want to write something off is because you will pay taxes on your income. If you earn $600 in income via Cincy, you are going to pay taxes on that $600 income. But if you have expenses, it offsets that income, because your debits and your credits. Your incomes are your credits, your expenses are your debits, and it makes them even out, so you pay less taxes. That's why you need to have tax write-offs. Again, a tax write-off is something that you use for your business. You need to be honest with this. If you can tell an auditor, that's how I always think. If somebody came and audited your taxes and they said, all right, here's a list of the things you wrote off. Can you explain to me and show me how you use these in your business to be able to justify writing off this whole expense? If you can do that, then write it off. If you can't, then don't. For instance, printer ink. Do you only use that printer for work, or do you also use it for personal? If you also use it for personal, do not write the whole amount of ink off. It's that simple. Don't be shady. If you buy stamps, I personally have stamps for my business, and then I have stamps that are home, like for regular stuff. So I can justify, I can say, no, these stamps right here, they go in this drawer and they're strictly for my business. I can write them all off. But if you're like, they're in this drawer, we use them for like mailing our cable bill, and we use them for the business, you cannot write the whole amount off. Now, do you need to nitpick it and be like, okay, I use 3 stamps for personal and the rest for business, so what is it per stamp? You don't have to be that picky, but if the majority of the use is business, then just average it 10% personal, 90% business, and write off 90% of the cost. Warmers, a big thing what people get confused on is they buy a warmer and they're like, I'm going to take a picture of it and I'm going to go live with it so I can write it off. That's not the case, because you are using it for the majority of the purpose of your home, your personal use. It is not technically a business expense. Even if you do a picture with it, and even if you go live with it, you did not 100% use that warmer for your business. It was like 10% for your business. So can you write off 10%? I think you can. Again, I'm not an accountant. Wax. If you buy wax for your house, it is not a tax write-off. If you buy a bar specifically to make samples with, and you do make samples with it and you still have some cubes left, that's different. It was literally purchased to make samples. The Bring Back My Bar kit, I purchase it for the sole purpose of making samples and going live and meeting up with people. I can write that off. I can justify that. Do I sometimes have like 1 or 2 cubes left? Yes. But guess what? A lot of times those get put back and they get used again for samples, or I give them out to customers who I know liked that scent. So you kind of have to look at yourself and say, am I using this for my business, or am I kind of using this for your business? And figure it out, because the big thing is if you get audited, you have to be able to be honest and say yes, and then explain, how did you use this for your business? And if you are shady with it and you're like, I don't know how, I took a picture, I went live with it, that auditor's gonna be like, no, and then you're gonna have to pay. So you have to kind of think about those things. You buy felt to make samples, the odds of you using that in your personal life, probably little. So that could be a total write-off. You buy labels, that is a total write-off. Your cell phone, I personally write it off in 4 different ways. 25% is for personal, 25% is Scentsy, 25% is real estate, and 25% is my husband's work. So my whole cell phone does not get wrote off. It gets split amongst all of these things. My home internet, same thing. Business and personal. Business, because I have 2, real estate and Scentsy, and then personal. It does not get fully wrote off. Can you write off a portion? Yes, but you cannot write off the whole thing unless you have a separate account, unless you have a completely separate internet that is strictly just for your business. Then you can. Otherwise, you cannot do that. Wax and warmers, same thing, the body line or the clean line or anything like that. You cannot purchase Blue Grotto Counter Clean to try it, because you've never tried that scent in Counter Clean, and then take a picture of it and talk about it. But you purchased it. Your intentions of purchasing it was for you to use and to try and things like that. You did not purchase it just for samples. That's a big difference. The air purifier, that's a big thing. It is a very, very big expense. Can you write it off? It depends. I personally can write it off because I have a list of teachers and people who I am going to let borrow it before they purchase it. If you do not have a list of people and you plan on putting it in your house, you can't write it off. Even if you're going to talk about it, even if you're going to go live with it, even if you're going to take pictures with it, you still cannot justify 100% of that amount to write off. So you kind of have to just give yourself an internal audit of things that you buy. Now, the only difference on some things is if you go live in a specific location every time. There are some consultants who have the beautiful backdrops, with current warmers, and they have all the little cubes and they're all set up in like little displays. If you are that person and you can show them like, no, look, I went live all of these times and look, they're in the background. It is part of what I need. That is different. That was not purchased for you to just use in your home. It was purchased as part of your business, as part of your backdrop for your lives, but you would have to be able to show that. I wanted to do that at one point in time, but as you can tell, I go live everywhere, so I cannot justify that. I take a picture of my kitchen warmer almost 3 times a week and I post it, and I still do not write it off because I purchased it because I liked it. Warmer and scent of the month, to me, that is a business expense, and I do write it off because I purchase it not for myself. I purchase it to sell those bars, to sell that warmer, to send out the mailers, to use the stickers. I purchase it for that intentions. If you are buying the scent of the month because you're excited about that scent, that's a little bit different. But I literally purchase it for those intentions. It is never purchased for me. Never. Now, occasionally I will keep the warmer for myself, but it is never purchased just for me. It is purchased to use in my business and then go from there, because I have been known to want to keep the warmer and then I just turn around and sell it anyway. So, but if you buy the scent of the month, or if you buy the warmer of the month kit because you really, really want that warmer, write the bars off, not the warmer. You've got to be honest with it, because trust me, I've never been audited and I don't want to be audited. I'm super scared of the IRS, but, you don't want to have to like go through and start nitpicking, and then like that stress, like if you do get audited and they're like, I need to see the receipts for these items, and you need to justify and explain it, you do not want to feel that. Okay, so always think, can I use it in my business? Is it 100% used in my business? And if the answer is 100%, then write it off. If it is not, then think about it. Do I use it 50-50? Do I use 10%? Do I use 90%? And then just be honest. Be honest. Okay, I use this 10% in my business. I'm going to write off 10%. Mileage, I write off mileage when I do deliveries. Or if I go meet people, because I do meet people with like set up for smellings and parties and things like that, I do write off. Now you cannot write off like gas and getting your car washed and your maintenance and mileage. You have to pick one or the other. And my accountants and mileage, you get more. So you can write off one or the other. Your PWS is completely wrote off. You can write that off. That is a business expense. It is needed to run your business. When I buy like an LTO bar, I write it off. Very rarely do I buy one because it's for me. It literally is for me to put my stock, to go live, make samples, things like that. Like I never purchase it because I want it. It is literally purchased for my business, and I can 100% justify it. If you bought Looney Tunes because you're excited for the smell, because you want it, but you're still going to go live with it, it doesn't count. If you're going to use 3 or 4 of the cubes and you're going to make samples with the other, write it half off. Just do an internal audit, figure it out. But the biggest things are our products. People buy them, especially warmers or cleaning products or things like that. A lot of people will buy them and write them off because they went live and they took a picture with it. You can't justify that. You just really, really can't. If an auditor came to your house and they were like, all right, you bought this $250 air purifier. How did you use it for your business to justify writing off $250? And if your answer is, I took a picture and I went live with it and I tested it out, you can't really justify $250. But if you could say, I went live with it, I tested it out, I took pictures, here's the list of people who borrowed it, that's different. Okay? Those are the big things. Warmers, wax, laundry. That's why when I say I only make samples of products I buy for my use what I want, in the sense that I want. If you would like a sample of that, good. But I rarely buy product just to make samples, and if I do, it does get put in a different location and we don't use it. I don't know what I have. I have all-purpose cleaner in a certain scent. I have dish soap in a certain scent that it was specifically purchased to use as samples. So you've got to figure that out. That's why I tell you guys, don't make a whole bunch of samples and a bunch of random crap. Use what you have. If you are a pink cotton fan for laundry, then guess what? Make the samples in pink cotton, but do not write off pink cotton because you purchased it for you. It's like a double thing. Or write off a portion of it. But now if you get it for half off, you cannot write it off because you already got a discount on it. Do not double dip. So just think about things like that. That's the biggest things that you gotta, when it comes to a tax write-off, is can you justify it if somebody asks you the questions? And if you feel icky or shady, or if you laugh while you're saying it like, well, then you probably shouldn't have wrote it off all the way. Just do those things. I do highly recommend you get an accountant. I have never once in my whole entire 41 years of living have ever done my own taxes. I've never even opened them up. I've always hired an accountant to do my taxes. Yes, it will cost you money, but just like you want people to buy wax from you versus buying it from Walmart because you're worth the cost. Having a professional do your taxes is worth the cost. They are educated in different tax laws and tax rules as they change every year. They also know things that you may not know, or TurboTax or H&R Block know. And It's a buffer. Because if something comes wrong on my taxes, guess what? I can go to my accountant and be like, yo, figure this out for me. It's not on me first. It is on my accountant first. Then he may say, well, I don't know. Like, this is what you handed me. Then it is up to me. But the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to go to my accountant, and my accountant is going to have to go through and look through all of those things and figure out, did he mess up? So I highly suggest getting an accountant, not an H&R Block, not a TurboTax, a for real deal CPA accountant. And if you can find one that works in direct sales, but has clients or is familiar with it, it really, really helps. So get a system, like how you take care of your bookkeeping, being it digital or paper or whatever. Do not make it a box of receipts. Okay, that sucks, and that's just kind of crappy. A system, a schedule. You have to have those two things figured out. And then from there, that's when you can start thinking about your tax write-offs. All right. Hopefully this video is a little bit better than yesterday's. I'm telling you, it was a busy day. And by the time I went live, I think my brain just kind of stopped. You know how it is? Like, I woke up this morning with a headache. So, like, usually if I wake up with a headache, that means yesterday was stressful. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to drop case off, and we're just going to do a take 2. So if you have any questions, please ask. And then I will do another Monday video when we talk about taxes and different categories and things like that. I kind of rambled about it last night, again, in my brainless video. So we will deal with that. Today, focus on your write-offs, focus on getting a system, focus on getting a schedule, and then think about everything that you write off. Can you justify it? And if you can, write it off. If you can't, figure out how much of it you can justify, and then go from there. If you have a question, ask. If you're like, can I write this off? Ask. We actually do have, not accountants, but we do have at least two people in the big team page that actually do work with accountants. They don't prepare taxes, but they actually are, dealing with accountants and other people's taxes and things like that. They're not tax preparers, but they do have a little bit of knowledge. So utilize that. Ask. All right. I think that's it. I'm going to go in, take some Tylenol, and get to work, because today's a smidgen less busy. So if you have any questions, shout. I hope this was much, much better than last night. I will talk to you guys later.